Episode 2 of Down Cemetery Road begins with confirmation that Zoe has been having an affair on Joe for quite a while. The news of Joe's death though hits her like a ton of bricks. She shows up at Oxford police station and is not convinced that Joe wanted to commit suicide. According to Zoe, he didn't do depression. There are a lot of debts though in their family, and despite their marriage crumbling apart, Zoe remains steadfast in her beliefs. Joe was also squeamish around blood, so slitting his wrist doesn't seem like the way he'd actually do it. Given Zoe is next of kin, she has the unenviable task of having to identify his body. En route though, she also learns that Sarah was the witness who found Joe initially. Zoe is a woman possessed here, determined to find exactly who did this and make them pay after identifying Joe's body. Meanwhile, Mark realises Paula's scarf left at their place is enough of a reason to drive up to the Cotswold to speak to Gerard personally. Sarah is not happy that he's turning her grief and shock into a business opportunity, and Mark is not exactly supportive over how she's feeling. As Sarah heads out to get the scarf dry cleaned, Sarah pops by Oxford Investigations. Inside she finds Amos, who happens to be Hamza's crony in the field and the guy we saw sniffing around the hospital last episode. He warns Sarah off from following this line of inquiry before it's too late. Sarah has also attracted the attention of Zoe though, who does her research and shows up at the crime scene sniffing around. According to a local nearby, the council shut off the mains gas supply years ago for many of the residents. This throws the gas leak story into murky waters, while C, the man overseeing this whole catastrophe in the government, chews out Hamza Malik once again, demanding he get down to Oxford personally and keep Amos under control. As for Sarah, she starts to spiral when she speaks to Wigwam about her theories and realises with horror that the child she's chasing isn't the same one she saw in the tunnel that day. Apparently that girl is called Gracie. Now, Sarah is definitely onto something, despite her own doubts, as we see Hamza showing up to see Dina. She's been moved to a safe house where Amos is overseeing proceedings. Now Hamza speaks to Amos and he's shocked when the agent believes they should use Dina as bait for their target. And meanwhile, Zoe speaks to Sarah, who heads up to the rooftop of Oxford Uni, contemplating life and looking precariously over the edge. Zoe chews out Sarah for losing her zest for life and no longer wanting to fly, figuratively speaking of course. Zoe is convinced now that the building was blown up and she wants to work with Sarah to get to the bottom of all this. Zoe is also here to drop off an invoice that Joe had for her, so there's also that too.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Unbeknownst to them, Amos is actually watching Sarah's house from afar. Now in the morning, Sarah checks out Mark's phone, specifically for the video from the night of the explosion. Lo and behold, Mark actually captured footage of Amos watching in the distance. A message from Emma Assistant pops up on screen though, which throws Sarah off her game. As for Mark, he's angry that Sarah didn't bother to contact him and hasn't followed through with the dry cleaning either. Mark decides to stay in London that night while Sarah checks out the scarf and realises there's a blood stain there. Now, the last time she used the scarf was to open Joe's office, so it could be a significant clue that he was killed rather than committing suicide. As Sarah drops the scarf off at the station where the officers take it seriously and get forensics involved. This also flags up Dina's file. Hamza gives the green light to Amos to step it up a notch, which involves bringing him into the fold. This puts Sarah in a lot of danger and she immediately thinks she's being watched. And while Rufus keeps her company that night, Zoe shows up at Joe's wake where his mum encourages her to mourn for the sake of herself and for Joe. Back with Sarah for now though, she opens the letter Zoe dropped off the previous night. Reading it, she realises that it isn't just an invoice. Joe was going to drop the case, but wanted to invite her along to a monthly board game night too. However, he does mention looking into who died in the explosion that night, given he's put in a Freedom of Information request about the Singletons, which might point her in the right direction. Unfortunately, there's a problem. It turns out Rufus is actually in on all this, and he's the one who killed Joe. Rufus's real name is Axel, and he's an assassin in disguise. He's also the one who planted the bomb that night, but obviously the operation was botched. Rufus tries to choke out Sarah, but just as it looks like she's about to die, Amos bursts in through the front door and pulls the trigger of his gun. Well, we've got confirmation over who is responsible for killing Joe, but right now we don't know why. We're also not entirely up to scratch on how Rufus pulled off the explosion, given he was at the dinner party when the bomb blew, but I'm sure we'll learn more in the episodes ahead. The way Zoe is being pulled into this investigation is nicely implemented too, as is Sarah's deepening involvement as well. The pair working together makes sense, and it's happening organically too. interweaving both plot lines together in a consistent manner. Given their individual personal stakes in this and their conflicting worldviews too, I'm sure we'll see a lot more banter between these two over time. For now though, it looks like we've got more twists and turns in the episodes ahead, and the questions are piling up big time. It remains to be seen though exactly how this one is going to end up, but for the time being, Down Cemetery Road gets off to a very solid start. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.